Well, there have been numerous studies since the late 1980s in terms of bringing high-capacity transit down to Charles County. We've looked at everything from extending metro rail systems down into Charles County to various bus systems and even light rail. And light rail essentially is as it sounds, a lighter version of the heavy rail trains such as metro, and it brings a larger volume of people in and out of the county. Most people are familiar with the traffic congestion in our area, and essentially the traffic is getting worse and worse every year as our population grows and as population grows in Prince George's County. The alignment would follow from the Branch Avenue Metro Station in Prince George's County, down along the Maryland Route 5 and filter down into Charles County, and once it crosses the county line, we'll follow the CSX tracks that parallel Route 925 through the core of Waldorf and ultimately ending in White Plains. There are two bills being circulated. There's a House bill and a Senate bill. Senate Bill 105 and House Bill 205 are nearly identical. Essentially, they are legislation that's being proposed by our legislators, our local legislators, to not only put this project into what they call the project planning phase, which is a formal evaluation phase, both selecting an alignment formally, as well as determining the technology, whether it's light rail or bus rapid transit. The local preference is for light rail. But the main purpose of this legislation is to put the project into funding that will enable the project planning process to take place, which includes the formal NEPA process, or an environmental evaluation. NEPA stands for the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969. The planning phase is first. Second is the detailed engineering. Third is the purchase of right-of-way to establish the corridor for where it would be built. And then fourth is the actual construction. Earlier in January, we testified on Senate Bill 105, and that was to give support for the bill, talk about the technical merits of why it should be funded. Same thing with the House bill, which was just last week in late January. And we, again, provided similar testimony, but because they're different, these are testimonials that are in front of different committees, focusing on that committee's focus, whether it's Budget and Taxation or the Appropriations Committee of the House, looking at their focus and making sure they have the information they need to make the appropriate decision. I've been working on this project for this particular project in this format for about 10 years. And we've gotten a fair amount of traction with the state. The Maryland Department of Transportation did fund a study, which was sort of project planning light, back about 5 years ago, and it concluded about 2 years ago. As administrations change, interests change in different types of technologies, whether it's highway improvements or transit. One of the things that's critical about this project is the width of the right-of-way for a train or a bus rapid transit system is about equivalent to 2 lanes of traffic, so an additional lane going northbound or southbound in our road corridor. But the transit can carry so many more people in that same volume of area or that same right-of-way to ensure that we get people in and out of our area and create a reverse commute, create an economic development engine here in Charles County. So not only will people have an easier way of getting in and out faster and so on, but it'll also create interest in Charles County. When the FBI was looking to relocate their headquarters, they looked for areas that had high-capacity transit service. When Amazon was looking to relocate their headquarters, Google, they're all looking to be located around transit. So transit is where big companies want to be located near, and it's a key element in economic development.
Bessie Coleman, born January 26, 1892, was an American aviator and the first Black woman to earn a pilot's license. Because flying schools in the United States denied her entry, she taught herself French and moved to France, earning her license from France in just 7 months. She specialized in stunt flying and parachuting. In 1922, she became the first African American woman in America to make a public flight.
My name is Danielle Mitchell. I'm Associate County Attorney in the County Attorney's Office. What that means really can vary from day to day, but a fair amount of legal review, providing legal opinions, really just supporting our departments and commissioners with their various legal needs. So when the General Assembly begins their session, we begin our weekly legislative updates, and my responsibility is essentially to bring the commissioners any important news about the legislative proposals that they have requested of our Charles County delegation, and to really update them on the status of those proposals, when those bills are drafted, make sure that they have a copy of that language, ensure that that's consistent with what the Board of Commissioners had requested, and then in addition to that, make sure that they're informed of any statewide bills that have Charles County implications that they should really be aware of. So for example, education reform, state betting, sports betting, things of that nature that have more broad implications, I'll make sure to also make them aware of that. I think that it's important that our constituents and that Charles County citizens know that they have a voice in Annapolis. Oftentimes, it could be the case that you feel like laws are being passed and you're just not aware of it. By making sure that we're having these weekly updates with our Board of Commissioners are in the community all the time doing different events, having their own town hall meetings, and so they're able to speak to what's happening in Annapolis, and I think it just helps everyone feel like they're a part of the community and know what's going on when it comes to legislation.
Applying for jobs with Charles County government is now easier and more efficient. Visit www.charlescountymd.gov for more information.